Hello, good evening everyone, welcome along to the Jackocar Cup Series. It is Season 12, Round 14, and we're going to get the elephant out of the room quickly, because Jacko's not here, and I'm sure he'll appreciate that comment as well. He says work is cold, which means that I'm pretty sure for the first time this season, one of me or Jacko have missed a race, and that's probably a record actually. We're not as consistent as we like to claim we are. And I'm now trying to wrap through my head thinking any races I missed. I'm pretty sure we've both been at all 13 so far. So, you know, we're allowed to have 1 week where someone doesn't make it. But anyway, we'll worry about Jacko another day, because we're here to eliminate more drivers with our new format. I mean, we're eliminating drivers every week at this point. And it'll be no different here in China. Round 14, following Sao Paulo last week, which I thought was quite funny that Jacko's not updated the thumbnail for the video. And so if anyone missed last week's race, all you've got to do is look up the Jackocar YouTube channel, and the thumbnail is the race results. So if you didn't watch last week's race, just quickly go and look at that thumbnail, and you'll know what happened. At least in terms of the actual finishing order. We know that Arnaud won the race. He's out of the championship. He got knocked out in Japan after various issues, messing up pit stops and getting himself penalised. A bit of a shambolic race for him, but much smoother in Brazil. And he wasn't going to make the Championship 5 anyway, because he's not available for it. So he, at least has a win in the playoffs that he can turn around and say, well, see, look, I'm still the best driver here. And I think people probably would agree with that. Even though he's not in the championship still. But, you know, he won. Eliminated was Ben Shaw. Not really his fault. He wasn't there. He wasn't at the race. I forget his reasoning, but if you can't make the race, you can't make the race. It's just unfortunate. And he lost out on countback as well, because Johannes Mellers, who's the driver at risk this week in the playoffs, he, literally level on points. And so it was... very unfortunate for Ben Shaw. So he's here just to make up the numbers. Jimmy Griffiths, is he even on the list tonight? I don't even know if he's here, to be honest with you. Arnold's definitely here, but he's going to be banned from qualifying, of course, as he won last time out. Don't see Jimmy Griffiths on the list. Corey Dalton's just joined. He was running a little bit late, but he's here now. So yeah, the playoffs this week. Really, if we're looking at drivers at risk, we lose one driver from the playoffs and we lose 2 from the chase. We'll worry about the chase in a minute. But in terms of the playoffs, the drivers at risk this week are Chris Waits, Sullivan Lewis, and Johannes Mellers. They're all within 5 points of each other. And Waits here, I mean, he's 14 off of Casper. So, you know, unless one of these guys win the race, they're not going to be sort of breaking into the top 4. They need to do that over the next 3 rounds, really. But yeah, one of those 3 will be eliminated as we watch Robin starting his first qualifying lap. Of course, this is the bottom half in terms of points, I believe, still, of drivers. In other words, just the chase drivers, essentially, take part in the first 11 minutes, of this qualifying session. So they'll do as many laps as they want until 7 minutes, where they all have to be back in the pit. You can start your last lap on 9 minutes. So that's why you'll see multiple cars out there. And then after that, it'll be the fast 9, and really, let's be honest, the important laps, as we've become used to for qualifying this season. But yes, in terms of the chase, we lost Michael KK and Waste Cuba last week. This week we'll lose another 2 drivers. Next week, another 2 drivers. And then the week after that, 3 drivers. So the chase is being absolutely slashed in the next few weeks. Drivers at risk tonight, all of them. Genuinely all of them. All the remaining drivers in the chase are separated by 8 points. So that is Ben Harrett, that is Gareth Hall, that's Robin Border, Pete Knighton, Mike Kelterborn, Jack Craig, Barry Bolden, who is in the drop zone, and Yuri Hasselberger, who's in the drop zone. Again, trying to look at the list of drivers who are or are not here. And I don't see Yuri. Am I going blind? No, I am going blind. He's in 17th, and Baz is there as well. So, do you know what? We'll just find drivers who are missing as we go along, because there's always going to be someone who's bloody missing, isn't there? Anyway, Robin, first lap out there, but he's going to be pitting because he invalidated. Let's actually try and find a lap that's going to reach its conclusion. I think, is that Thought we were going to catch one. Where's Baza? We'll see why Baz is getting on right in the final corner. We were on about him being at risk. And he'll cross the line to set the benchmark at 1 minute 34.6. I don't really know what lap times we should be expecting around here, actually. It's a weird one, this China, because this is still very obviously the old version of China. This is one of the tracks that really could have done with the upgrade. The LiDAR scanning that we've seen for other tracks, 5 tracks on this F1 game. Maybe it'll come in the 26 update. I really hope so. I think this track probably needs it more than most. And while I remember, when I play career mode and the likes, I like to use driver on board, but they don't sound as nice on the broadcast, so we'll whack it back to broadcast settings just before anyone complains about it. There you go, see? Sounds much less nice, doesn't it? As Pete Knighton goes fastest, following Michael Okege. But yeah, let's say, it's very clearly the old version of China. I'm not the biggest fan of this version of China. I think China in general is a very good track, but yeah, it's showing its age on this game. So, yeah, always a weird feeling when we come here. It just doesn't feel right, and that's probably why. But yes, Michael actually had a decent race last time. I think he finished 10th or 11th, but it just happened to be one of those days where we saw essentially every single driver in the chase who was still eligible for something have a really good day, and it was a day where some playoff drivers had a sort of an off day. So yeah, last week was really important chase wise, and if we see another race anything like last week's where just constant surprises are thrown our way, then yeah, with the whole chase being 8 points apart, we could see, basically we could see the order flip on its head. I mean, we've got Ben Harrett, who's had a horrendous season. I think he was pretty much sat at the bottom of the standings, or near enough bottom, and I think he ended up finishing 4th, and that puts him all the way up to the top of the chase. And then if he has a bad day like he's had for 12 other weeks this season, he could end up back at the bottom again. So it's just been one of those seasons for the chase, and so probably the closest I can remember it. So we'll see how that all pans out. Yuri, P3, if he can stay P3 off this bottom half, I think he'd be pretty pleased with how that's gone. Let's say I'm struggling to remember any good races, sadly, that he's had this season. I think this would be a very good day for him to have a sort of Ben Harrett-esque recovery. Arnaud, like we say, he won the last race, and so he's just doing the outlap to put the setup on the car. I'm not entirely sure if it actually makes a difference whether you do a lap or not with the setup. I have to assume at one point in time you'd put a setup on, but if you don't do a lap on it in qualifying, it would get reset and you'd start your race on a default setup. I don't actually know if that's even a thing. It could just be one of those things that people just assume happens because this game isn't coded very well. But anyway, yeah, everyone always puts a setup on, and just to be safe, they do a lap on it. But I've always wondered if that actually, yeah, makes a difference. Not. You certainly can't put a setup on the grid, so I suppose you might as well, yeah, be safe in qualifying. But I find that quite funny. I wonder where that's come from. But here's Robin. We've got about 90 seconds before drivers can stop starting laps, if that makes sense, and then a further 2 minutes for them to finish said laps. And Robin, where's Robin at the minute? Robin sits 13th in the chase standings at the moment, and he's only 1 point off the top. Ben Harrett and Gareth Fowler are level on points. Yeah, there's no actual point in me telling you to chase standings. Essentially, it's close, and we'll work out who's bottom of the chase by the end of the race. Let's say the playoffs will be more interesting to discuss, because we've got the top 4 in the playoffs separated by 12 points, and so that could be flipping all over the place in the coming weeks. And then below that, you sort of got a second division that are trying to catch up. So there's a little bit of sort of jeopardy. Even if you don't get knocked out this week, you can still be sort of find yourself 10-15 points back. Robin there is 4th place, and yeah, that's the end of his qualified session essentially. So it's not a bad lap. We'll see how he gets on. Yuri's out there on tyres he was already using before, I believe. Now we do have this on current tyre, don't we? So that looks to me like possibly Yuri's forgotten to change tyre. But look at this. We've got Baza with Michael Akeke behind him, and that's going to be a distraction as Michael then goes off the road, which is not going to help anyone out. The car behind that was Ben Harrett, who nearly got involved there. I don't spot any damage. I thought I might have seen his front wing was damaged, but seeing Michael Akeke, who's out of the championship, sort of gets it in everyone's way there. I don't really get what he was doing there. I mean, you can easily make yourself some room, surely. To not ruin someone's day is a waste. I think he's retired in the pit lane, so there's no problems there. I can't see how long's left on the clock, because if you get any yellow flag, the clock disappears, which is really annoying. And I really do wish they would sort that out. But we'll follow the cars in order anyway, as they come across the line. There you go, 8 minutes 10, so yeah, they'll all be able to complete their laps, no problem. And let's say behind this we've got Ben Harrett, and then Pete Knighton, and presumably, yeah, Fozzie Bear's not going to be able to do a lap there, so he's gone out a bit late. But we'll have 3 laps to watch the end of anyway. But first, here comes Bassett. I think he was up, wasn't he, on his time? As he came through the middle sector. I think it was about 3/10 up. So we'll see how this goes. We're on the final corner. Not really pushing the track limits like we saw with Ben Harrett there. That surely must have been invalid. It was. It would have been second fastest. Baz is 4th fastest. And Pete Knighton has also invalidated. And so all he can manage is a 33.6. We will see how sort of strong that lap time is. And well, this lap's going to continue then for Fozzie Bear. Interesting. It's not really meant to be doing this, but Jacko's not here, so we'll just, do you know what? We'll turn a blind eye to this. Okay, this isn't happening as far as I can tell, unless he's replacing Jimmy Griffiths, in which case that might be what he's doing actually. Maybe he's replacing Jimmy Griffiths in the order. So yeah, we'll ride on board then, see how the lap gets on. Yeah, I'm saying that though, he has already set a lap time, hasn't he? Yeah, I don't know what I'm watching actually. I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm watching, but yeah, hopefully Jacko isn't watching this particular part of qualifying back, and then we don't need to worry about it. And I can pretend I know what I'm talking about, which is, it's a rarity, I'll tell you. How's the middle sector looking? He's up a second on where he was. So this isn't actually going to be challenging the front. So I think if he doesn't get too offended by this, we're going to move to Ben Shaw and ride on board for a driver that is actually, in fairness, just as irrelevant because he's out of the championship. So yeah, I'm not doing anyone any favours today. But this should be the first proper representative lap we see. Obviously, Pete Knighton and Ben Harrett, I imagine, are probably the fastest drivers at the moment. And I'm just wondering, am I being bamboozled here? Hold on a minute, I actually am losing my mind here for a minute. Is Yuri Gareth? Is Gareth being Yuri? Has he called me out here again? Because I don't recall Yuri being on PC, and I've just noticed I don't see where Gareth Hall is in that list. But right, do you know what? We're going to worry about this in a minute. As Ben Shaw, I'm just noticing he's running about 60,000 quest signs on his livery. Someone was a bit bored, wasn't they? But yeah, this would be the first representative time of the quick guys anyway, and then Chris Waits will follow along. I might need to get out the chat for a minute and try and work out what I'm actually watching here, because I feel like I'm losing my mind here. I've been trying to work out why something feels off about Yuri, and it's not the fact he's in 3rd place, it's the fact that he might not exist. Yeah, who knows. Right, here comes Ben Shaw then. 32.9. Decent lap. We'll see how that lasts. When the even quicker than him, guys come along. Waits he's in trouble this week, like we say. He's worrying about what Johan is and what Risky are going to be doing around him. I'm just trying to see if anyone in the Twitter chat had actually mentioned anything before. I might have to, literally, I'm going to have to get last week's stream up and work out if if Yuri was on PlayStation or not. I can't believe I'm letting this throw me. I feel thoroughly embarrassed. Yeah, Yuri was on play. This is bloody Gareth is pretending to be Yuri on a week where Yuri really ought to be here because he'd be out of the championship if he isn't. And I was sat there thinking he wasn't here, and it turns out I'm right because he isn't here. Which means if Yuri isn't here for the race, he's out of the championship. Right, Gareth, we got to have a conversation about this. It's funny to pretend to be Casper because that is funny. But when Yuri's in serious danger of going out of the championship, we need to know if he's here or not, for goodness sake. Right. And then if I'm wrong about this, I'll look even more stupid. So it's a lose-lose situation for me in this one. But anyway, Chris Waitsy has gone third. Sullivan Lewis basically just needs to beat him and he'll be happy enough. And he has done. It is speed 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're risky in second place. Now, Johannes, being in the drop zone, but it has to be said, he's had 2 really difficult races. I mean, he got his car turned into a Christmas tree in Bahrain, as we've discussed many times. I don't think I let it go for a single lap during that race because he really did just kept getting hit on the side. I mean, his car would have been impossible to drive, so that left him at the back. And then he, I think, invalidated his qualifying lap last week, and this week he's just playing slow. So what's going on here with Johannes? He must have had a problem, but yeah, a pretty bad run of races he's having, and if it goes wrong tonight again, and he's going to be starting effectively last, really, maybe barring West and Arnaud, I mean, I'd be amazed if he loses Johannes out of this championship. I feel like he ought to be in the championship 5, but, well, he's making things difficult for himself. This opens the door for, I suppose, well, Casper, Jake, Corey, and this man, Tony Kirkpatrick, the points leader at the minute, to sort of pull away, and he's gone fastest here is Tony. I called him my dark horse for the championship last week, but I mean, if you're the championship leader and you're currently on provisional pole position, can you really be classed as a dark horse? I'm sure he'd love to maybe keep being called a dark horse, because then that makes him, you know, look like it was a much more impressive title if he goes and wins it, and it'll make me look really smart for saying he's a dark horse, and look at him, he's won the race and the championship, a bit like I did with Jake in season 5. But you know, let's not get worried about my predictions, because I get 99% of the things I say wrong. So the one thing I get accidentally right, we'll not worry about. But yeah, certainly the championship leader Tony, he's looking like he's having a good run at the moment. Ooh, look at this, Jake O'Sullivan. He's invalidated his time, and well, that opens the door for Chris Waitsy, opens the door, I know his name is Chris Waits, but Waitsy just rolls off the tongue. Sullivan Lewis and Johannes, if Johannes can actually have a decent race. It's not really helped him this. He would have loved to see Jake having this issue if he had a decent lap to back it up. But with Risky and Waitsy up there, they have a good race today and they close up on Jake. You know, that's how this championship can get close again. And yeah, for Jake O'Sullivan, this is going to be possibly only 17th. Because, where would that have gone? That would have gone 3rd fastest, but yeah, it's invalid, so it's not really relevant. Here's Corey Dalton. He sits 4 points back from Tony Kirkpatrick on the points at the moment, and he still has the best livery in all of Jackocar, basing it off Lewis Hamilton's helmet, but he also has, this is the Aperture livery, isn't it? So the base livery for this is essentially, it's just a black livery, but it has the sort of sunset gradient that it has on it at the minute. It has that by default, but it just, I don't know, I just think it really works with the Lewis Hamilton colours. Although it would have been nice if he'd change that to white, or maybe like a silvery colour, you know, to match the Vegas helmet. Maybe he's planning that for the Championship 5. Maybe he's not thought about it at all, and I can give him my days. But still, great helmet for Hamilton, great livery for Corey Dalton. He's only gone 4 fastest, but this is where Hamilton won his only race of the season. It was a sprint, but still, you know, good omens on this track. Maybe we'll keep an eye on Corey for this race. Another completely pointless thing to talk about, but here, listen, you know I'm good at waffling, we'll say that much. Oh, look at that! Casper has! Right, okay. I didn't know Casper had done that. to be absolutely clear, he's gone pole as well. But I wasn't aware that Casper had done exactly what I was suggesting that Corey ought to do. And he's gone fastest with it. So Casper, with the same livery as Corey, except it's white and black instead of red and or yellow and red. And he's gone pole by half a tenth. Has Casper. He's 12 points off Tony at the moment in the championship, but this will certainly help him to close up. So, since Jack was not here, I'm just going to screenshot the order for him. And he'll worry about that later on, but you can see the grid there. I'm not going to try and list it off. I'll just do that on the formation lap. It makes more sense to do that then. And I would just like to make sure... I'm just going to make sure Gareth is pretending to be Yori. Because, yeah. Because the reason I need to work that out is because if Gareth is pretending to be Yuri, then Yuri currently sits in the drop zone, in the elimination zone for the chase. So that means Yuri would be out because he's not here. Unless two drivers above him get some point deductions, which could happen. If Mike Kelterborn, Jack Craig, Pete Knighton, Robin Border, Gareth Hall, Ben Harrett, or Barry Baldwin get into an accident and they're predominantly at fault. What we saw in Japan was that when Arno did that, hitting Ben Harrett, came with a 5-point penalty, which is, to discourage people just making reckless accidents happen. We like seeing the aggression, but not people taking each other out, etc. So, if Yuri's not here, then that's the only way he'll be able to get in. But I'm just hoping someone can confirm that for me in the Twitter chat. Unless someone's in the YouTube chat laughing at me. I probably should check that, actually, shouldn't I? You see, well, Wace also thinks... I think Wace has also been called out by what I was called out by thinking that Gareth was Yuri, or Yuri was Gareth. Who knows? Yeah, so I'm glad I'm not the only one who's been a bit dense. This is what Gareth's been doing all season, by the way. He changes his name every week. And I think he had me... His names initially were requests for me to call him certain things, and I wasn't going to do that. And then eventually he decided for Austria to become Casper. And, this week he's decided he was team at Marduk last week. But this week, he's decided to be Yuri. And Arnold's saying the same thing as me. Is it Gareth pretending to be Yuri, or is it Yuri pretending to be Gareth? I'd suggest the fact that he's currently in the top half. I mean, Yuri's has such a bad season. So I would suggest probably it's more Gareth, who seemingly has a bit more pace, doing the pretending. And this is going to be fun with this track in either sunrise or sunset. But the fact is, we've got the golden hour light and no clouds at all, so this might be a bit difficult to spot some cars. It's lovely and picturesque. I'm sure Jacko's going to really enjoy the screenshots that get produced of all the cars on the grid. I really should have actually taken a screenshot of all the cars on the grid, because that'll make for a great header for him, and he would absolutely love that. Because, orange being the colour of the league, and the orange light, golden light onto the track, I'll need to take a lovely screenshot of that for him. He'll appreciate that. Instead of, I think what it is at the minute, I think the header is, what is it? I think it's Spa in the wet. So, I'll need to remember to take that screenshot. But, right, the grid. Let's do that quickly. Casper is on pole. Tony, Ben Shaw, and Risky make it a speed 1, 2, 3, 4. Corey is ruining the speed, what would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because he is sat in 5th place. But then you've got Pete Knighton and Waitsy. Let's say speed. Casper's not speed, is he? Anyway, we've got we got 5 speed drivers in the top 7. Anyway, Ben Harrett, Gareth Hall, we think, Baza, and Robin, OKK, Jack Craig, and we got Fozzie Bear, and Johannes, really bad qualifying, Arnold, Jake, and wastes. But as Casper comes around the final corner, and we got Red Matt in the chat as well. I mean, I tell you what, Red Matt, or Matthew Redmore, whatever. Oh, I thought I could hear a car spinning off, and that was risky. But pretend we didn't see that. But I tell you what, you'd be right in this championship, Matt, if you were here. You ought to come back at some point, because I reckon you'd fit right in with how competitive this has been recently. But right, we've got drivers on the grid, and I really hope we get off of this camera angle, because this is a hopeless camera angle. I want to see a better camera angle of the track, please, as we've got just chaos. What is going on here? Just everyone get into your grid slots, and let's get on with a race here in Shanghai. And I don't know, maybe we're not going to get the view. We'll prepare and just hope that we get the screenshot that Jack was looking for. Yes! Look at that! Doesn't that look great? As we await the lights here in Shanghai. It is round 14. We lose another 3 drivers tonight. Boogity, 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 let's go racing. And it looks like a very good start from Casper. That's one of the better starts we've seen from anyone from pole this season. And into turn 1, Risky's making contact there with Tony. And Tony's had to bail out of it. Risky on those soft compound tyres, already up into 2nd place. And Corey side by side with Ben Shaw. And a bit of contact further behind, but nothing to worry about. As Corey moves up to 4th place. Pete Knight and Johannes, look at that, Johannes is already up to 9th place. He's made a blistering start. Someone's front wind's coming off, and it's OKK's. And wide off the road as well goes Gareth Hall. He's way down towards the back of the grid. He and Johannes have effectively swapped places on this start. And, well, it was about qualifying, but for Johannes, he's still behind in the championship, actually, with Risky in 2nd and with Chris Waits in 6th place. And if he can get past Chris, then he'll be able to start making the fight back. But then he has to outscore him by 5 points. So, right outside of Ben Harrett. Oh, and Ben, tell you what, he just about left enough room there. And Johannes took to the grass to avoid having contact. He knows a thing or two about lap 1 contact, as I've banged on about all season long, all day long, all week long, just forever. The poor bloke can never get away from it. Here comes Tony. Does he want a bit of revenge here, or is that people just snaking on the straight? I think that's just for slipstream purposes. No one going for any moves apart from Johannes, and he must have broken too late there. He's gone wide, and oh, Ben Harrett. He's been hit there by Pete Knight, and he's broken the front wing. And that could put him in danger for getting eliminated tonight. And he's gone straight into the pits to get that sorted out. Up at the front of the field, Risky. We keep saying it this season. He needs to just make the move for the lead and stick. And is tonight the night? He's up the inside of Casper Klein. He leads this race. Not the first time we've seen him go for this sort of strategy where he starts on the softs against guys on mediums. And Bahrain was the one that really frustrated me, because he wasn't able to make that one work, and he got a bad timing on the safety car, crashed on the way out of the pits. But this time he's put the softs on, made the move early. Can he now pull away? We've only got one Joker driver tonight, that's Ben Shaw, but as we've seen before, they don't really use the one-stop element of the Joker. It's more the pit whenever you want element of the one-stop, which is what they like at the minute. Or pit whenever you like for the two-stop, free-stop, however many stops you want to make. That's really what the Joker's been used for now. So it's not a massive advantage, actually, but it gives drivers options. So point is, everyone's effectively on the same strategy as Risky. And Ben Shaw's out of the championship anyway, and I think if he sees Risky going for a victory and he's the one blocking it off, he'll let him win it. But he leads anyway. That's the main point for now. But let's just get a bit of context to how his season looks good and then always seems to go wrong. But he's happily let Casper straight back through. And he's burned all his ERS as well, so did he actually just blow everything there to get the lead and he didn't even last a lap? That's a bit frustrating. I don't think he even managed to lead a lap, did he? So, well, he'll go again, because the top 5 are very much nose to tail. Chris Waits is in a world of his own. Now, I wonder if Ben Harrett's struggling here to get past Arnold, who's also made a very good start and is up into 7th place. But look to me like it's Ben Harrett doing a bit of the overtaking, or at least attempting to. Run outside of turn 1, not going to stick. Either that or Arnold's just got him on DRS, and that's Ben just trying to come back at him. That might probably more likely be what happened. And Johannes has had an issue because he's fallen back down into 15th place, and I didn't see that happening either. So, what's going on with you, Johannes, at the moment? Because this is very much a driver. Oh, it is very much a driver. I'm looking at, sorry, got distracted by Baza going wide at turn 6 there. But he's very much a driver, Johannes, who we've seen has the pace to win this championship. But it's almost like he's got a problem, like with his setup, or so, not with his like in-game setup, but like, I don't know if he uses wheel or controller actually, but whatever it is like his peripheral is causing him a problem, as Jack Craig has just been into the wall, and that's going to bring out the virtual safety car, and drivers can naturally pit on whenever they want really, but this is a good opportunity for drivers to pit. Maybe if you're risky on those softs, this is a good chance to nip in. But yeah, Jack Craig into the wall. But yeah, for Johannes, I don't know, it just something seems very off about him at the minute. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Tonight, it just feels like things aren't going to work out, but we'll wait and see. I hope I'm wrong. I want this to be a close night in terms of strategy and the championship and all the rest of it, so yeah, we'll see. Risky, it made sense to pit. Tony, it didn't make sense to speed into the pits, and a lot of drivers are pitting behind this, so Tony, that's going to potentially ruin his day, because the game's not even letting him take the penalty straight away, which I wish it would do. I wish it would just let him take it as soon as you get it. That would make life a lot easier for us in the commentary box. And Ben Shaw, he stayed out, but as we go back to green, he's got a drive-through for speeding, and so while he's on the Joker, that's just made his day a lot harder, because he's going to have to come into the pits anyway to take a drive-through penalty, and that's just going to spoil everything. But Risky has come out of the pits in a great position. Just don't crash. He always gets it wrong on the outlap. If you can get away with this outlap with no problems, Risky's in a superb position. So, yeah, don't mess it up, please. I'll stop watching you now. You know, no pressure. Nothing's happening. I don't know what you're talking about. Here's Chris Waits trying to defend from Arnold unsuccessfully. Nice switch back there from the reigning champion for the next 3 weeks only. I'm sure he's probably not counting down the days, but yeah, 3 weeks today we'll be crowning a champion. Can you believe it's come round this quickly? But I suppose that's what happens when you run with 2 races a week for the first 5 weeks. It will go by quickly. Back in the day, it used to drag on for the whole 17 weeks, and then add maybe a week or 2 of break in between. You'd be stuck with Jackocar for way longer than anyone needs to be stuck with anything for. I think we much prefer the get it done in 2 or 3 months strategy that we have at the minute. But Ben Shaw, this should be straight in and out through the pit lane. There'll be no stopping for tyres here. And with everyone else pitting onto VSC, I mean, he's probably going to lose about as much time here as they did in their normal pit stop. I mean, that's how bad this is going to cost him. Baza up into 2nd place, Wace as well up ahead, and yeah, look at that. Oh, is that Tony going for the move there on Risky? Speed teammates, they don't need to get into each other's way, especially when Tony has the 10-second penalty. But yeah, Ben Shaw, he's effectively where he was, and he's taking a drive-through penalty, so he's where he was, and he still has to make his first pit stop. That's a disaster. I wonder if this will actually force him to just having to do the Joker strategy now to try and salvage something. Will he actually just do a one-stop? It'll let him pit whenever he wants. Everyone else has to wait until lap 14 to make their 2nd stop. I'd imagine that's when Ben might be in before then, in fairness, actually. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he gets like a lap 11 safety car, something like that, then he's back in the game, you know? So that's the sort of thing he'll be looking for here. Here's Jake in P8 at the moment. I just want to actually go back to Johannes as well, actually, just to gauge where he's at the minute. I want to ride on board for a little bit and just see, is it him, or you know, has he been hit at some point? What's going on here with him? And yeah, I think Yuri's confirming that. I don't actually know. Who is Gareth Holland? Who is Yuri Haslager? Who knows? I'm just not going to mention it for the rest of the night. Here's Robin fighting away with Waits, so he looks to be falling through the field a little bit. And Johannes, well, if he had any issues, he's been able to get past Pete Knighton without any problems. So, but then he has the big snap on the exit. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't look like Johannes driving to me. Something just seems a bit off. But anyway, here's Tony looking around the outside of Baza, who brakes early. Doesn't want to fight this one too hard against the points leader, and doesn't. And Tony, I tell you what, he's made a massive gap on Risky already. Risky doesn't seem to actually have any pace out there. He's already sort of pulled nearly 3 seconds. At this rate, that 10-second penalty, that'll be whittled away pretty quickly. Oh, look at the snap there for waste. I mean, I can see why Jack Craig lost the car there now. That's out of turn 10, I believe that is. And yeah, if you lose the car in the curve there, yeah, you're in trouble. And it's a very limited area anyway, all the way through 9 and 10. So the tyres will be absolutely red hot on the exit. So yeah, you get on that curve. It could be curtains as it was for Jack. Casper still stays out, by the way. He chose not to pit under that VSC, and he's sticking by that decision. I think he's the only driver not to pit yet in this race. So he'll just run this through and see where it leaves him. But Risky, I mean, he's been able to make the overtake on the way there at least, so that's not the end of the world. But yeah, could do with seeing a bit of pace, I think. Baza is the next car up, and yeah, the gap is about 3 seconds between Risky and Tony. I mean, if he keeps it like that, I mean, it could actually just be that Tony's really fast. You know, again, I'll keep calling him Dark Horse, but then he'll have really good pace. And I suppose he has to be giving it everything at the minute to try and not have this 10-second penalty ruin his race. Nothing's happening. Well, we'll sit with Risky. I was about to say, let's watch the closest battle on track, but this is the closest battle on track. Everyone's just sort of in a lull at the moment. And look how Baza struggles here through turn 8. And that'll feed all the way through turn 9 and through turn 10. And this will hold Risky up, and it's cost him a second on this lap already, just being sat here. He'll gain a little bit back with a DRS that he's gonna activate down the straight. He activates it about halfway down. He's blown a lot of ERS on this lap as well, or at least he's run out of harvesting. So when he uses his ERS here, none of it's going to come back until the start of the next lap. So this will effectively go down to 0 and stay there for a short while. So he really ought to get the move done. And he has. Up to P3 then for Risky. It's still a great night. I mean, I'm thinking win. It could still very much be net race leader when everything shakes out. He's got cars behind him to worry about, but for now he can look just ahead of him and get himself into a rhythm. But like I say, I mean, he's closing points on the guys around him at the moment, and so that's all that really matters. And he's not getting himself eliminated tonight as well, which again, that's really all that matters with this result tonight. But if he can be on the podium, I think he'd be very very pleased with that. Arnaud probably will be on him soon. We're yet to see a back-to-back winner this season, for obvious reasons. Oh, hello. Has Johannes been involved in another incident? He has. What is going on? The German driver is going to be out of this championship tonight. And we were saying it was a lucky escape for him in Brazil. Oh, has Waste had a problem as well? We've got a few cars having issues out there at the moment. But I can't go off board with anyone, by the way, at the minute. I don't know what's going on. Can I look at the damage on his car, please? Yeah, left-hand end plate. And it's left-hand end plate for Johannes as well. But yeah, we said last week, me and Jacko, that Johannes sort of got away with it, getting it wrong last week. And obviously it wasn't his fault. Oh, another car off. And that's OKK. And where's he going to come back on? Not Yuri. Gareth just avoids him. But yeah, he got away with it in Brazil, staying in on countback. This week, he now effectively needs Chris Waits out of the race. He needs Sullivan Lewis out of the race just for him to stay in the game. And if someone had told you by the sort of halfway stage of these playoffs, if we'd be losing Arnaud and Johannes from championship contention, that would have been an absolute shocker. But it's what we're being faced with at the minute. Now, I don't know if I think Pete Knighton was near him at the time, and possibly Ben Harrett. I don't know if they've caused that incident, or if he's caused it himself, or if nothing's happened and it's just been unlucky, whatever. We didn't see it. But yeah, the upshot is he's in trouble. When it comes to the chase, hard to tell until Bazza pits, really, because Bazza's the guy in the danger zone at the minute. With Yuri not here, all he has to do, Bazza, is finish, and then Jack Craig will be getting himself knocked out, because if you finish you get a point, and I don't actually know who's got the higher finish. Jack Craig may have a higher net finish, but yeah, I think Bazza would need to be in the top 15, 14 to get more than 1 point anyway, but it's just worth pointing out Bazza, as long as he just keeps rolling, he'll make it into next week, and Jack Craig's accident will have him out of the championship. With no... just, by the way, yes, I have noticed that Caster's in the pits. With no Mike Kelterborn here this week, though, I do wonder... well, yeah, if Jack had just got a couple of points, actually, it would have been knocking Mike out. That'll be frustrating for him, but anyway... It's looking actually like most eliminations are a bit of a foregone conclusion at the moment, but we'll see how it all shakes out. Casper then, he's going to have a big tire offset, and he's going to need it because he's behind Arnaud and Risky and Tony. That's all legit. It's because Casper didn't pit under the safety car, but the thing is, he's only going to have this offset for maybe about 5 laps, and then everyone else around him is going to get their own lovely offset when they pit, and surely Casper's going to extend this stint out, so yeah, this will be interesting. But this is the fight essentially for the net race lead. Although saying that, Tony's doing a fantastic job out front to make this 10 seconds, and he may well do it, as Johannes, what's happened now? He's lost another 2 positions. He's going to be last, well, not last, as Arnaud already side by side here with Risky and Casper too, and they've just sort of robbed Risky into a trap position there. And will Casper now be able to get past Arnaud and get 2 cars in 1 lap? That'll be pretty impressive for him. But yeah, Johannes, he's not last, but he might as well be in terms of a championship position. And look at the overspeed here for Casper. That's ridiculous. Arnaud, though, is keeping his foot in it, and they're going to remain side by side towards the final corner. This is for track position. There's no sort of pit stop things to worry about. They've both made 1 stop. And Casper, he goes off at the final corner. That'll be a warning, but he's got through. And he can get after Tony now. Bazza has been into the pits. He's out in 11th place. He's ahead of Ben Harrett. He's doing everything he needs to do to be into the next round. Corey Dalton's down in 13th, by the way. I don't recall seeing anything particularly bad happen to him, but that's where he is. Robin and Ben Shaw are the drivers yet to pit, as Wes puts on a new set of the medium compound tyres. I don't believe he's fixed that broken front wing, and he hasn't. He'll come out in probably 16th place, as Johannes has got back past KK, but he's a country mile off where he needs to be at the minute. He's 44 seconds off the lead. That makes him about 25 seconds off his nearest rival in the playoffs. This is this is looking pretty grim. I think this is almost a bigger upset than seeing Arnaud go out of it, knowing the context that Arnaud wouldn't have actually been able to make the Championship 5 anyway. Although you could say that early on, maybe he would have been able to make it if he knew he was in. I don't know, but I'm sure it's the excuse he'll keep using anyway. But for here though, yeah, Johannes being out, I think that's big upset. So he'll be looking for a bit of divine intervention here to give him a hand. The first step to that would be a safety car, but no one's bringing them out at the moment. Risky's bringing himself a penalty. A P4 finish for him though, again, it's still more than good enough for him. to make it into the next round. I think he would have liked to have at least led the lap 2, where he got ahead of Casper. And Casper, you know, you could have let him have it, couldn't you? But no, he didn't want to play nice. But yeah, P4 is still a good result. It's just nice to see that Risky's been up at the front really all season. He's gone from a sort of fringe chase playoff driver some seasons to a bottom of the pack driver elsewhere. And which car was that? I was okay having the big slide. I thought the car looked blue from the front. I was a bit confused as to who that was. But yeah, he's gone sort of from generally trending towards the back, Risky, to trending now towards the front, which is obviously a nice change. A 2-time winner, of course, in the Cup Series. He won Season 2's race in Austria. He was sort of let a lot. Oh, look at that, Johannes. It's just a disaster. It's just a total disaster. And that is the end of Johannes' championship charge in Season 12. I'd pretend to sound more shocked and surprised, but it's the way his race has been going, and it's just the way the last 2 races have been going. And remember what I said about a handy lap sort of 12 safety car? He didn't, or lap 11 safety car, whatever it was I said. Is that 12? He's got it. Now, yes, Ben has already made that second stop, but it's fine, because no one else can make that second stop. I think Tony's doing this now because he has to. This will not count as his second stop, but he has to take the penalty now while there's a field spread. Risky's in, which is interesting. I mean, there's nothing stopping these guys doing 3 stops, but you've got to make that second mandatory stop after halfway. He's put the hard compound tyres on, Risky, so either he just wants to burn them and change something else later on, or he's going to make a late pit stop for some fresh tyres towards the end. Can any tyres go 14 laps around here? Who knows? Can that's a good question, actually. The tyre wear is pretty bad around here, so yeah. This might not be the silliest move in the world, actually, Risky, to only lose, one place doing this. And Tony, obviously, on new soft, he'll be racing up the field. And Gareth's got himself a driving, speeding penalty for driving too fast, obviously. But yeah, Johannes, yeah, it's just the way his season's gone all of a sudden the last 3 weeks. It's a bit like watching Oscar Piastri, really. It's a bit of it's watching a car crash, isn't it? Literally. So yeah, Johannes out of the championship. He'll be back next season, I'm sure. Go for it again. But that takes any and all drama out of this for the playoffs. The only thing we need to worry about now in terms of eliminations is whether Baza finishes the race or not. He has to finish it to get through. If he doesn't finish it, he's out. But I mean, I think he's aware of that. Just finish the race and you're fine. So yeah, just finish my thought on Risky. Obviously, having a good season. He's won 2 races. He won Austria Season 2, which is a race that Pete Knighton really let him win. Which I'm sure Pete was happy enough to do that at the time, because people thought he was good back then, and he was good back then. But now he sits here with 196 races without a win, I believe. So, you know, that would have been cut down by about, I don't know, 20? 15, something like that. So, if he'd let him win that race, or if he'd not let him win that race. But whatever, we'll not worry about that. He sits P7 at the minute, having a decent day. He's possibly going to get to make this pit stop during the safety car. Excuse me while I cough, hold on. I said they might get a pit during this safety car period. Ideally, the safety car comes in this lap and ruins everyone's race. You know, because they all have to make a green flag pit stop. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, anyway, Pete Knighton, yeah, he sits 7, so he's not having a bad day. And then Risky's other win was, I believe, Season 7 in Monza. It can't already be 5 seasons since he last won a race. It feels like yesterday he won that race. Or maybe it was Season 7's Kia Series. He won the championship there. Maybe he won a couple of seasons later in the Cup Series. I don't actually remember, to be honest, but he won in Monza anyway. Yes, so Ben Harrett, he picked up a speeding penalty. Not really going to help his cause. He was top of the chase coming into tonight, and he could end it outside the top 4. I mean, it's just the way it is. But again, it's hard to get excited about these lot now because they're all safe. I'm just looking for an exciting race now. Coming up, please. Will the safety car be in this lap? If it isn't, I imagine we will see a few pit stops. Will the tyres be any good if they put them on now and try to get to the end? That's an interesting question. I'm sure someone will try to answer it. I'm sure Ben Shaw will try to get to the end. This safety car's come at the right time for him. And I think actually, I think it suits him to the ground if these guys are allowed to pit ahead of him. Because I don't know. It means at least we've got parity on the tyres and there'll be no need for any worrying about offsets. I think they're going to get to pit here. I'm really interested to see who's going to go for the pit stop. Unless these safety car lights go out right now. And they don't. Right, here we go then. Pit stops. And they're all taking it. Apart from Risky. I don't think Risky thinks these tyres can get there. I don't think he thinks they can get there. I don't think Bazza thinks they can get there. Ben Shaw has no choice. Waste wasn't going to get... yeah. So what's happening here is the guys that aren't pitting are going to pit later on. And presumably they're going to get an advantage with newer tyres later on, while guys on dying old tyres can do nothing. Did anything I said make sense there? Actually, what's going on here? Have we lost some connection here? What's going on? Because this would really ruin everything if none of these guys can get out of the pits. Right, let me just try and make my thoughts again while I'm not being confused. Right, so they're being spat back out onto track now, presumably in the order they're supposed to be in. Ben Harrett's been disqualified for some reason. I'm gonna suggest that might not have been his fault with how everyone's jumping around at the minute, and now Casper's doing that. The safety car's in the wrong place. Is that the real safety car? What's going on here? Are we racing? Are we racing? I think we're racing. Are we racing? They're going pretty fast. They're going pretty fast. I think we're racing again. Hold on a minute. Okay. Well, okay. Right. So there'll be a safety car that they'll have to avoid on track, which means these guys have accidentally made green flag pit stops. Effectively. So they are going to have to try and get these tyres to the end on these hards. The guys that didn't pit, Risky, Bazza, Ben Shaw, etc., they presumably don't want to try and get to the end on hards. They'd much rather be on a newer set of mediums for like 5 laps. That'll, give them 2 or 3 seconds of lap advantage. So that's what's going on out there. Now, the safety car should have come in at the end of lap 14. I thought it should have come in and it didn't. Now it's sat on the exit of turn 11, presumably not actually doing anything. And we've got the race back underway, so we'll see what happens. If Risky's on the right strategy, he's in for a win here. Unless, yeah, okay, I don't know what's going on now. We've got another car out of the race. Fozzie Bear's gone, and that safety car's moving again. And it's picked up the leaders again. Safety car's in this lap. Right, okay. So they've been able to race up to the safety... So the safety car's got a bit lost there. And suddenly... we were racing, and then we weren't. And now we... what's happening? I thought they were racing. Has fixed everything. Whatever. What was I talking about? I don't remember. Ah, yes. I was saying, since Risky's got the penalty, if this is the right strategy for these guys staying out, Ben Shaw could be a shoo-in for the win here, but that depends if we can hold these guys behind. Bazza could be in for a good result. This race is now going to restart, even though it probably started 2 laps ago. I think for everyone's sake, maybe don't bring the safety car back out again. That seemed a bit messy to me. We're back underway. And already Baza and Ben Shaw are side by side. Look out for Casper as well in the background. He's being sort of sandwiched here between these cars, and he's got Arnaud trying to come through as well. We're on board with Jake O'Sullivan, who, remember, started at the back of the field along with Arnaud. And they're coming through the field. Arnaud's got a great through line there. He's up into the third place, and that's worked out brilliantly for him. Like I say, with our new qualifying system, where you're not allowed to qualify if you win the last race, we've not been able to see a back-to-back winner this season. Arnaud could well be the driver to do it. He's made a great restart. And we've got Jake O'Sullivan passing Bassett as well, so a pretty poor restart for him. Tony, having taken that 10-second penalty, he's ahead of Corey Dalton, and he can get back into this race now himself. And we know he was fast. He was pulling gaps on everyone. So yeah, in the pack at the moment, but we'll see how he gets on. Up at the front, Risky. Oh yeah, Risky did get to lead some laps in the end as well. Well, that's always nice. But he but he does have to make another stop, of course. So he'll enjoy this while it lasts. Ben Shaw needs to keep all of these guys behind if he wants to win his first race of the season. I think Jacko said in Baku it had been about 50 races, so it must be like 52, 53 races now since we last saw Ben Shaw on the top step of the podium, and we haven't seen a Joker winner this season. And yes, I know he's not done it on a pure Joker, but he's taken advantage of the pit whenever you want element of the Joker, and he's used it as well as you can use it. And with those extra couple of laps of safety car-ness, that might have actually helped him even more with the tyre wear that he's going to experience. So this could be the closest we see to a Joker success this season. Whether he can hold on to it or not is, well, it's another story, because Arnaud's all over him. But he's all over Risky. And it's all closing in here. Is Risky letting him go? I thought he was letting him go for a second there. He just seemed to really slow down Risky, the race leader. As we have 11 laps to go. And the whole field, I mean, it might as well still be on the safety car. They're all bunched up on each other. And here's Corey coming through on Baza. Waitsy's sort of where he's been all day, isn't he? He's just sort of sat in the mid-pack. He'll happily sit there. It gets him through to the next round of the playoffs, no problem. He's got P9 and Wastekeeper behind. Gareth and Okeke are the only drivers who are detached from the field at the moment. Robin's starting to get detached, but I mean, with how everyone's looking now, I'm sure he can probably get into DRS, and he has done, so he's caught up to the pack. Ben Shaw's in trouble, but he's going to have DRS on Risky. This will be really interesting. Here comes Arnaud. Is he going to get 2 for 1? Look at how much faster he is than Risky. And down the inside he goes. And the winner of the last race now leads in China. Can he win back-to-back races this season? It would be pretty impressive. But he's looking good for it at the moment. Arnaud leads ahead of Risky. And here comes Ben Shaw, but not before Casper gets past 1, gets past 2. And we've now got some wheel-to-wheel contact as well. Casper robustly defends this time. This is where we saw Risky get past Casper on lap 2, and now on lap 19 he's returned the favour. And he can chase after Arnaud. Will Casper have his say in this race win? He's led the first half of the race. Can he fight Arnaud and stop the back-to-back victory from happening? Ben Shaw now looking behind him somewhat to Jake and to Tony, but he has to still be looking ahead at Risky. We've got a yellow flag. I think that yellow flag's been there, actually. I don't know why I'm mentioning that now. I think that's been there for a while, hasn't it? As Pete falling through the field a little bit. He might have just had a wide moment. Doesn't look like there's any damage, so no dramas. Tony, slightly surprised he's not made more progress, actually. He's on the back of Jake, which is not an easy car to pass. But I mean, you can see he's just got more grip, he's got more speed. But then Jake's going to open that DRS up. One man who's not going to do that is going to be Arnaud, and he's weaving like crazy because he knows that Casper's going to have a great run. Oh, come on, you could have went for that. Have a little bit of bravery. What about Tony? No move there either. The DRS train preventing some overtaking there. But look at the exit he's getting out of every corner. Tony is definitely faster, but he can't do anything with that speed at the moment. Risky. I wonder if he's starting to regret not pitting on lap 14. He pitted on lap 12, didn't he? Or lap 13. I think it was lap 12. He pitted when that safety car initially came out. Hope he's not done his Mavs run and doesn't actually come in again. I assume the plan is to put some new mediums or softs on at the end, but we'll see. Waste, by the way, with that damage, he's sitting up there in P9. Obviously on mediums as well. I don't think they get to the end of the race. But, yeah, we'll see. He's holding off P9 for 9, and Baza, who was 9th, I thought. There's been a bit of swapping of places going on there, but they're very much detached now from Waitzer, who's also detached from the top 7. Here very much in a train at the moment. Who's going to be the first to make a move out of that train? Could be Casper. He's looking a lot closer this time round, isn't he, to Arnoud, who he didn't start dead last because people got their qualifyings messed up, didn't they? But he started in 16th. It's close enough. And he's going to have to weave across the track a little bit again. Looks like Casper's not had as much closing speed, though, on this occasion. Jake's all over the back of Ben Shaw, but he's going to be out of DRS now. So that might help Jake to get past. But Tony, how has he not been able to get past yet on Jake? This must be so frustrating. He's so much faster. He's pushing his rival out of the final corner. But then the run that Jake gets on Ben Shaw, he might just get straight past him here. No, he doesn't go for it. No. What about Corey Dalton? He's going to be encouraged by this. And surely, no, Tony will go for it. It's contact. And he forces his way through. He had to do it. Will Jake try and fight back? I don't think he can. He's going to worry about Corey Dalton. He nearly loses the back of the car. Well saved. And he will continue on. Baz is into the pits for some new mediums. All still looking good for him. As long as he finishes the race, he is still in the championship, remember. Thanks to Jack Craig's accident earlier. It's him and Yuri here out of the chase at the moment. We know already Johannes is out of the playoffs. But if we lose Baza from this race, he then gets knocked out of the chase. So that's what we need to look at. Now that Ben Shaw is completely detached, surely Tony will get him now. I feel like I'm saying this about the poor bloke every lap. Surely you're going to get someone. He got Jake at the start of the lap. It was a robust move. He had to do it. Getting his elbows out after a few laps of patience. This should be a lot more routine. But we can't watch it because here comes Casper. But he's not. You can't sit this close and not go for it. He's not using his ERS. He's trying to be smart and save it. Arnoud will just about. Well, he's going to push his rival onto the grass. Is what he's going to do. Tony didn't get past Ben Shaw. I can't believe it. How did we see no moves on that back straight again? It's beyond belief. What about the turn 1? Casper still saves the RS. Arnoud might have just allowed Casper to win this race, because I don't know if he's recognised what's happening behind him. Kicked off a little bit now. It looks like Ben Shaw might have been shoved out of the way, and he's in the grass now. Has he been lagging maybe, or something's gone wrong there for Ben? So Corey and Jake now up there, and Corey ahead of Jake. Did we see that one happen, or we did see that one happen? So that's all happened at turn 1 while we were watching the leaders. But yeah, Arnoud, I think he might have realised what's happening here with Casper saving all that ERS up, and now he's going to do a bit of saving himself. He's on to about 55%. By the time we get to DRS, he'll be around 70, but I think he might have to accept defeat here and let Casper pass, and just hope he can stick with him. Because yeah, Arnoud realised what game was being played. He just realised a bit late. Now, will Casper continue to let Arnoud blow the ERS? If I'm Arnoud, I'd maybe even stop pressing now. You can, yeah, leave the button alone now. I think he's got enough of a gap. Let's see, will Casper send it? No. Right, so this gives Arnoud now a chance possibly to save for the whole lap, and that might be enough to get him to the end of the lap, essentially with the same ERS as his rival, and they'll be playing on an even playing field. Risky still not pitting. He keeps going wide that final corner. He already has 1 penalty in this race. Doesn't want to pick up a second one, because I do think this next pit stop's really going to hurt him as Tony gets past Risky. I'm just going to make sure Risky's not on a joker here. I'm pretty sure he isn't. It is only Ben Shaw. So, yeah, this isn't working for Risky. It's not working at all. R9's blown the ERS again. Why? What are you doing that for? You don't need to. You had that under control. Yeah, I was thinking he'd save the ERS all the way up to DRS. So what if Caster gets by into turn 6? It just means you can DRS him at the end of the straight. And that seems a bit of a misjudgment here. They're sort of playing chicken with each other. And no one's winning, because actually, the thing is, Tony, if they keep mucking about, Tony will get to them and he will pass them. So I think this time, Casper really actually does have to start going for the move. Let's see if he does it. Or has Arnold got enough on the exit of the long, twisty turn 13? I think Casper is going for it this time. Arnold moves to the inside to defend. How late does he want to get on the brakes? Not late enough. And Casper's ahead and into the race lead once again. He started from pole. He sat behind Arnold for a few laps. But with the threat of Tony behind, I think that move had to be done. Arnold, he can't come back. I think that's possibly the chance of his race win over. So maybe he was right to have to defend through that first sector of ERS. Because it looks like Casper just has the outright speed advantage at the moment. Ben is coming back through on Jake, and that is a lot of front line damage there for Jake. I wonder if Jake's actually been into the back of Ben. Maybe that's what caused Ben to go off at turn 1 a couple of laps ago, and what allowed Corey to get through. I wonder if that maybe that's what's gone on there. Risky still hasn't pitted yet. He could be waiting for a safety car to bail him out here, but it's another promising result, because actually he looks pretty comfortable in P4. He looks a lot quicker than he did in that sort of middling portion of that first stint, or in the second stint, sorry, where he did seem to be a bit slower than the guys running. This time he looks like he's relatively on the pace, but he's going to lose out because of a pit stop that he has to make soon. Don't know what the rules are really in the playoffs when it comes to not doing the mandatory strategy. Obviously it would usually be a 30-second penalty, but in the chase or in the playoff context, a 30-second penalty means absolutely nothing to him because he's through anyway, as we see Gareth off the road. That's not going to be any safety car out. That would have been what Sully hoped for. But you know, if he doesn't go and make this second pit stop, Could Jacko give him a penalty in points? He's only 3 points ahead of Johannes at the minute. I wonder if anyone will be on the phone to Jacko about this particular situation, because we saw in Japan for contact. Look at this, Gareth. I don't know, he's hit the rear wing or he's overheated the tyres or something, but he's having a terrible run of it at the moment in the gravel. But yeah, we saw it in Japan where Arnold made contact with Ben Harriet, broke his own front wing, it ruined his own race, let's be absolutely clear. But he got a 5-point penalty for it. A 30-second penalty for not doing your mandatory 2-stop. A 30-second penalty, that means nothing because he still gets some points for that. So I'm wondering if the higher-ups at Jackocar and the stewards may... Well, actually, it'd be disqualification, wouldn't it, if you don't do the 2-stop. So I wonder if it'll be disqualification plus a 5-point penalty, and that would allow Johannes back into it. I'm sure Johannes would maybe try and make that point. It's like, hold on a minute, this guy's not made a 2-stop. That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm out of the championship and this guy's cheating. That's what I'd be thinking anyway. I'm not a steward. I don't make the decisions around here. The stewards they probably don't care what I think, actually. But, you know, it's a question that someone might bring up. It's a question, you know what, I might ask Jacko after the race. What does he think about that? Depends on if Risky pits or not. Someone really ought to tell him to pit, actually. And that, unless Jacko's graphic is wrong and Risky... There you go, he pits. Thank goodness for that. Right, so he's not on a Joker. Confirms that. Right. Okay. Well, that's the last hope for Johannes gone. And possibly some fastest laps incoming for Risky. But yeah, that was the wrong call. Pitting on lap 12 as it turned out, because it looks like the tyres will make it with no problem whatsoever. And Risky he'll probably finish the race in 11th because he's got the penalties as well, hasn't he? So I think 11th, that's as good as it's going to get. And another good, promising race sort of goes begging. Right, up at the front, Arnold has been able to hold on here to the back of Casper quite well. They both still appear to be happy to see VRS, and actually Tony hasn't made an impression, and I don't think he's going to be able to catch them unless they start properly sort of getting their elbows out. Only basically 2 laps to go after this, so wonder if we're going to see Arnold maybe go for a move and try and hold on to the track position. I'm sure Casper can defend that, but the DRS is powerful. Let's see. I think Arnold will go for this and then just try and hold on. He's not brave enough on the brakes. Not brave enough. I don't know. I think you could have gone for that, Arnold. The racer in me just wants to see you go for it, so I'd say just go for it. Come on. I want to see this back-to-back happen. The way our rules are, it makes it very hard to achieve. You're not going to win the championship this season, so, you know, at least set a record for the back-to-back on a system that's deliberately designed to stop back-to-backs happening. Then we'll have to rewrite the rules all over again, and, you know, give Gareth and Ben a headache when they devise the rule set for... I wonder if we're going to keep calling it Jackocar. I mean, Jackocar is pretty catchy name. I wonder if Hull Shaw Car really works the same, or Shaw Hull Car, or, you know, whatever they want to call it. But yeah, you know. Anyway, if Arnold wins this race, they may have to, you know, rewrite the rules again so we don't get any back-to-back winners. Because I'm pretty sure that was the intent, to stop that happening, so we get lots of variety. But it looks like Arnold has a chance. Elsewhere, Ben's holding on to P5 pretty well. This has probably been his strongest race of the season. I'm trying to think of a stronger one than this. I mean, on the Joker as well. I think he can be pretty pleased with himself. It's a shame he's out of the championship because he's beating Waitsy, he's beating Risky, he's obviously beating Johannes. I mean, he's beating Jake. He's sort of a factor if he was still in it, but he's not. Here comes Arnold for the lead. Oh, wow. That could be into the side. It is into the side of Casper. And Tony, he might win the race. The reason I say might is that it just depends on how big the damage is to Casper's car. Quite how they're both still in the race after that. Absolute nerf is beyond me, because we've got 1 lap to go here in Jacko. I can't say it as well as Jacko does. But, yeah, what's happened there is it... Well, I shouldn't laugh. What's happened there is that basically his Arnold has tried to dummy his man, and he's forgotten that he's got the DRS open, which means you've got no rear grip. You can't start weaving with the DRS open, it doesn't work. It doesn't. Oh. Oh, that's brilliant. Right, so yeah, he's trying to pull a dummy at top speed with no rear downforce, you know. Go figure, you're gonna crash. Now, the big issue that Casper's gonna have here, he's been hit so hard on the side that he'll almost certainly have just enormous drag. So, to put it mildly, I think he's in trouble on this back straight. Unless he got hit in the rear wing, but then he'd probably have found the wall by now if he had. So here comes Tony. I don't think Casper's got anything to defend with. Let's see, he tries on the brakes. This would be impressive. Bit of a nerf. You can't blame him. Oh, look at that, Tony sort of hooked his wheel. Go on, dive him. Oh, he doesn't do it. Oh, but wide out of the final corner, but Tony's gonna lose it as well! Oh, wow! What a dramatic end to the race! Casper wins it, ahead of Tony. And I tell you what, they were going for it there. Corey third. Yeah, they've all slowed down there, but Arnold's fourth. Ben fifth. Jake sixth. And yeah, that was well held on to there by Casper, because I'm sure that would have been at least yellow damage to So the floor to the side pod, that gives you less cornering performance, it gives you more drag on the straights. Just in general, it makes you a lot slower. Tony, he did sort of hook onto his rear wheel there. I think he tried to give himself a chance, but instead nearly binned it himself. Corey, he will have no idea how he got third, but he won't care. Pardon me. Wait to see there's 7th, and then we got Risky behind P9. I assume he got the fastest lap in the end. He did, 34.7. Robin in the top 10, and then we got Wace. Bazza did finish, so that takes Jack Craig out. It takes Yuri out of the playoffs. It obviously or off the chase, I should say, and then it takes Johannes crashed earlier, takes him out of the playoffs as well. And in fairness, Gareth Hall was going to finish last anyway, so that probably would have been enough actually to put Yuri out anyway, if that was the real Yuri. And even if it doesn't, I don't know the last. I think Okeke just let him through there, and maybe he's not aware of who that is. But anyway, or maybe I'm not aware of who that is. But anyway, I've been a bit distracted by the end of that race. I don't think I can remember a funnier end to a race, and I'm sure, I hope they won't mind me saying that was absolutely hilarious. I could just oh, the amount of times I've mocked about on Grand Prix and done something like that, it's it's a type of thing you do for fun, you know. Go and ruin the rear wing and just see how big of a crash you can have with no rear downforce. Yeah, and Arno clearly hasn't mocked about that much on the game. Otherwise, he would have known that would happen. But yeah, that's very funny, isn't it? Right, let me get the results so that Jacko has the results. He wants on penalties as well. Just checking as well. In terms of the chase, who's actually leading the chase? That's worth having a look at, isn't it? Well, Jacko... Actually, I wonder if Jacko's watching. Oh, sorry, he's in the Twitter chat. Jacko says Robin leads it by a point. Obviously, Pete did finish ahead of him, only by a couple of positions. This is definitely one of those days where the playoff drivers have a good result. But yeah, okay. Right, Robin leads the chase. It means nothing, but no, he leads it. I think, yeah, my brain's been melted completely by what the hell just happened there. Anything else I need to mention before we finish? Let me see. I hope... hold on, let me actually... I want to see if the YouTube chat find that as funny as I did. Maybe I'm just a sick individual, but I find that crash to be absolutely hilarious. Okay, thank goodness, right, Jess agrees with me, that was indeed hilarious. Good. Right. Honestly, I've never seen a race as funny in my life. Jacko keeps screaming in the chat about things, and it's very irritating. Now he thinks that Pete and Robin are tied for the lead in the chase. So no one knows the maths. I don't know the maths. Jacko doesn't know the maths. Jack will be back in the commentary box next week, and he can just do the maths for me. I don't do the maths. I don't even know the point system, to be brutally honest with you. But yes, that was China. That was round 14. We've lost Johannes. We've lost Jack. We've lost Yuri. Don't know where we'll be next week. Of course, it is a random calendar for the next 2 races. Then it'll be Mexico for the Championship 5. So, join us next Thursday. I hope I haven't been too shambolic as the solo lead commentator. I don't remember the last time I did solo lead commentary. It feels like it's been a while. It used to be my thing. 6 years ago. Maybe 7 years ago. It's been a while since it was a regular thing. So, yeah. And back then I just chatted a load of nonsense about school and all the rest of it. I barely even talked about the races, so I really had to lock in for that one. But anyway, right. Me and Jacko, hopefully, will be back next week. So we'll see you later, and I'm going to have to explain to Arno why his car spun. Cheerio.